everybody, and welcome back to another fantastic One True Theory with your beloved host and friend, Party God Douglas. And we are back on Lapis Lazuli from Steven Universe, because, well, honestly, there are a lot of things that just don't add up. I mean, I'm more than certain people can argue for days about Lapis's move to pull a fast one over old Jasper there. But on this episode, I'm not here to talk about that move. I'm here to talk about what occurred right before Lapis decided to make one of the biggest mistakes of her life. And that's this scene right here. Lapis pushing off debris, and a Jasper who is struggling to stand up is so easily able to catch her as she tries to fly away from the encounter. Now normally, there doesn't seem to be anything off about this encounter. I mean, other than Jasper still being unpoofed after a fight with Garnet, being electrocuted by the ship's main engine source, being at the epicenter of said engine's explosion, and then crash landing with absolutely no protection. Seems like the only thing you can do to kill these gems is to impale them or crush them to death. But the thing that is off about the Lapis trying to escape encounter is not Jasper, but it is Lapis. Lapis trying to escape just bothers me for some reason. It seems like she should have been able to get away from Jasper here, but I just couldn't put my finger on the reason. So I decided to watch all of the Lapis episodes up until Jailbreak, which consists of all of 2, technically 3 if you count the message, but I'm talking about seeing the leading lady in question in action. So we turn to Mirror Gem and Ocean Gem. Now we don't see anything too particular going on in Mirror Gem. The most we see is some basic hydrokinesis. I'm talking straight up Katara Season 1 Episode 2 level hydrokinesis. But the real power, the really pertinent topics in need of discussion come from the next episode, Ocean Gem. Now on Ocean Gem, we see some impressive feats from Lapis. And by impressive feats, I mean there is no reason the Crystal Gem should have won level feat. Then again, there's actually a lot of major encounters in which the Crystal Gems probably shouldn't have won, but in this case it is because of how powerful, yet autonomous, Lapis Lazuli is. The episode starts out with Lapis having stolen the entire ocean for reasons we find out later are to get back home. So Steven and his own personal Wu-Tang clan go out to bust this problem wide open and really deliver the smackdown on good old LL. But when they arrive to Lapis's tower, not only did she garter the entire ocean into a single tower, Season 6 Finn from Adventure Time style, but to distract the Crystal Gem, she created evil clones of the good guys. Fully autonomous clones to fight all of the CGs while she tries to get away. Actually, autonomous might not be the right word, because when you look at the fights between all of these clones and the Crystal Gems, the clones fight a little too well, but we'll get more into that later. Now the reason this is truly an impressive feat is because it is showing off Lapis's true mental faculties. Lapis Lazuli may not be book smart traditionally like, say, Paradox are, but this does not diminish Lapis's mental abilities in the slightest. In an earlier theory video, I had dissected why Lapis had been shown to be so extremely angry, aggressive, and overall upset every single time we have seen her, and concluded it was through a combination of her traumatic experiences and having the innate ability of eidetic memory, which only enhanced the traumatic memories with absolute clarity and permanence. Here we see a different side of the mental faculties, and that is the ability to multitask and do it flawlessly, which isn't so ridiculous when you consider everything she is doing. She is controlling 4 water clones, soon to be 5 water clones, while she is also stretching a gigantic tower made out of water to the heavens. We know it was Lapis Lazuli behind all the fights because all the clones were all fighting way too well to just be water machinations she summoned to fight the CGs. They weren't just copying their moves like, say, a mirror would do, because Lapis Lazuli has never seen any of these gems fight, so she would not have a reference in order to entrance these clones to do so. Garnet's matched hers fist for fist, meaning Lapis was registering and reacting at lightning speeds to her movement. Amethyst's clone beat her handedly. Steven's nearly drowned him, which is too smart of a move for a mindless machination. And Pearl's at least kept her occupied, and then even split into 2, which means he had 2 different clones fighting a singular person. We know Lapis is capable of manipulating water telepathically like this from the move at the end of Mirror Gem, where she splashed Garnet and Steven away with a wave without moving any of her limbs. Oh, and the gigantic water hand at the end of Mirror Gem, which is basically this, but without all of the fancy handwork. All of the fancy handwork is mostly for show because she is clearly capable of just as much with little to no effort. i.e. Ocean Gym Battle. And Lapis's mental faculties hold up because, as we see later in Shield Tide, Lapis is not only keeping the fusion together, but is forcing herself to the forefront of the fusion's faculties with only the strength of her mental willpower. And she did this for several months on end. Lapis's mental faculties go beyond that of eidetic memory, but eidetic memory just happens to be one of the many benefits Lapis Lazuli has in the mental processing department. Though it is important to note that just because she has all of these amazing mental faculties doesn't mean she isn't automatically immune from being led by her emotions, and it is because of these processes and of her traumatic background that she is strongly led by her emotions. Back on point, the crystal gems eventually get lucky and Steven takes to diplomacy. Steven and Lapis have a short talk, which ends up with Steven thwapping a big glob of spit right on Lapis's back. That sounds really weird outside of context, but with that, Lapis makes her way off of her amazing water tower into space, leaving Steven alone to deal with the falling water tower. And here is where it gets me. More than Lapis's goddess-level control over water itself, more than Lapis Lazuli's innate mental faculties, which go beyond impressive, it's this scene right here. Oh, so what's got you in a tizzy? She's just flying back home to where she belongs, which is good because that mook needs to stay out of our skies. Oh, Pompadour Douglas, your bad, vague northeastern accent has just pointed out what was wrong with this picture. Lapis is, by herself, literally flying home to her home planet, in space, in another galaxy. Yeah, so? Pompadour Douglas, do you know what a little thing called gravity is? Because it is something in which any celestial body in a universe large enough naturally produces. Earth is one such celestial body, and in order to escape Earth and its massive gravitational pull, you need to achieve a speed known as escape velocity. Escape velocity is the velocity necessary to escape an object's gravitational pull, and this is the formula you need to use to calculate Earth's. Complex, I know, right? Fortunately, Earth's escape velocity has long since been calculated at approximately 40,270 kilometers an hour, or 25,020 miles per hour. Knowing Earth's escape velocity and knowing that this is the speed you would need to go in order to even make it out into space in the first place, so Lapis Lazuli could go home, Lapis Lazuli's true power starts to come to the surface a little more, and is honestly a little terrifying. So with this in mind, we know Lapis Lazuli had to have been going at least 25,020 miles per hour, which is about Mach 33, in order to actually get off of Earth. But this is only the tippity top of Lapis Lazuli's power iceberg. Yeah, but she's already so high up, and gravity weakens the further up you are, and she is well above the cloud line, so she isn't having to exert that much velocity to escape the atmosphere, or the gravitational pull, rather. You're right, Pompadour Douglas, considering how high she is, she would not need to be going the full Mach 33. But the really impressive feat I mentioned earlier is her actual return trip home. Lapis Lazuli is attempting to return to Homeworld. Homeworld is in a separate planet in an entirely different galaxy, but one which appears to be quite close to Earth itself, as Peridot and Garnet seem to be able to see it with relative ease in log date 7152. I'm assuming it's this glowy one right here. Now this is where it starts to get crazy. The nearest galaxy to our own is the Andromeda Galaxy. Yeah, I saw what you did there, Mass Effect. You ain't as slick as you think you are. And the Andromeda Galaxy is approximately 2.5 million light years away. Light years is a measure of the distance light travels in a year, which means this galaxy is ridiculously far away. So this is approximately what we're putting Lapis Lazuli's distance traveled at. Now, to properly calculate her top speed, we need to know how long it took for her to get from there, from the end of Ocean Gem. Steven Universe is very unfortunate in that it doesn't have a really accurate time measurement system, but at least I'm not trying to measure anyone's height, because then I would be screwed, because there is no consistency there. I mean, look at how tall Lapis is here. We do know the generalized seasons from the world around them, and at the beginning of Mirror Gym, Connie talks about school being out and the beginning of summer vacation taking place. Considering they are in Delmavera, which is a combination of Delaware, Maryland, and I think Rhode Island, but I need to check on that one. But the important part is that school usually lets out somewhere in the middle of June based on the Delaware school system's calendar for 2016/2017. So we have our start time, so where is our end time? Well, Well, this one's a little harder. However, we do have contextual clues from the world around us. In the episode forecast, we can probably assume it's winter since winter is in the name. This doesn't tell us much, but the typical Delaware weather patterns will. Snowfall usually doesn't happen too often in Delaware after late January. In this episode, we know a significant snowstorm is on the way, so that means this is probably somewhere in late January. And given the message is 7 episodes later, I think it's safe to assume that we are probably somewhere in the beginning of March, considering Connie does show up once between then and the return, probably on spring break. So from June to March, that is about 9 months. Alright, now we need to convert these numbers to values we can actually use. Taking in the 9 months to account, that means Lapis Lazuli traveled approximately 0.277777777777 light years each month. Now that we got that out of the way, we can convert light years into actual miles. In miles, Lapis travels 1,632,951,492,505.28 miles in a month. Now we divide this by 30 for the average number of days in the month, which gives us 54,431,716,416.8 miles every day. Now we divide it down again for hours and we get 2,267,988,184.04 miles per hour. And now we're going to convert it to meters per second just to look more scientific. And it comes out to a whopping 1,013,881,437.793242 meters per second. What does all this number gibberish mean? Well, let me put it into perspective. The speed of light is 299,792,458 meters per second. This puts Lapis Lazuli's top speed somewhere around 3.4 times the speed of light. And we know she didn't just go to some other gym-controlled planet closer to Earth because she made no mention of ever doing this to anyone, even the likes of Steven. It would have been really easy to say, when I warped back to Homeworld, everything was so advanced I couldn't even understand it, and then continued with the rest of her message in the message. But she didn't say this. This means Lapis Lazuli made the return trip all by herself, justifying all of our calculations we made here. At that speed, she can give the likes of Superman and the Flash a run for their money. But more importantly, at that speed, she shouldn't have ever been caught by Jasper here. Heck, she shouldn't have even been hit by Bismuth in her backstory if she's able to go that fast, because if there was one power that is more broken than anyone gives it credit for, it is super speed. So Lapis Lazuli, you have not only a goddess level control over water, but you're also 3.4 times faster than the speed of light, so why on earth are people so easily able to get the drop on you? Could it be perhaps you're actually wanting it to happen? That, however, is a theory for another day. For now, this has been Party God Douglas with One True Theory. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked this one true theory about Lapis Lazuli. Is this your OTT? Then give this video a like and subscribe.
Many months later.
I don't need to prove this one anymore. The math still holds up. So I'm just gonna give myself a couple of gold medals for really just acing this one.